Hi everyone, and welcome to class online tonight with me. I'm a bit excited tonight. We're going to be using the envelope punch board. We're going to be talking about cards and envelopes and how to cut them and measure them. And yeah, a lot of people have sort of not quite sure how to actually get the best out of their cardstock and their designer series paper. And we have some amazing free ones at the moment with Sale.A.Bration. We've got 10 days left of Sale.A.Bration. So, yeah, don't miss out. Now, if you're wanting to, or if you're looking, I should say, not if you're wanting, if you're looking for something to do and you love card making and you would love a little bit of extra cash on the side and save, you know, up to 20-25%, even more on product, depending on what level you are. Yeah, give me a call, or you know, join up with the link below on my online shop. You can join up there too. Love to have new team members in our Stampin Up family. Also, there's two kits at the moment. There's the $169 one and then $235, I think it is. And that one comes with the tote bag that's on special only for Sale.A.Bration. So if you're interested in joining the team, definitely do. We've got some great things coming up. On the 27th of July, we've got our Christmas in July, come Stamp Out Cancer. So it will be raising money for cancer. I'm just not quite sure yet. I'm hoping to do something for our local hospital, for our cancer room up there. But if not, it'll go to Cancer Victoria. I'll just got to work out what we're doing. Yeah, so that's coming up on the 27th. It is on the event page. Hi Raylene, it's good to see you. Loving your swaps. It's just good to join into any of these things. Now, seats will be pretty well limited once we get to a number, and so if you're wanting to come along and join in on the day, help make some fun cards for yourself to take home, as well as supporting cancer, you know. So it's an important thing to me because I'm a cancer survivor, so this is how we can give back. But tonight, like I said, we're going to be using that envelope punch board, also showing you some cards and that. So without any more, I'm going to bring you down so you can see what I'm doing. And then we'll, hopefully, I'll get this right. Sorry. Okay. Let's hope that's in the right spot. Sorry guys, sometimes it's really hard to sort of see if we're in the right spot, but let's hope we are. Okay, now I've got black paper down at the moment because I'm going to be sharing a little bit on white card. So different size cards, people ask me like, what would you do for different size cards? How do you get different size cards and why would you have them? Now, at the moment, Stampin' Up's got this cute little note card. It's a little note card and it comes with a cute little envelope. This is a really cute one. So this is one that you could use. That's a different size. It's a smaller one. And then our next note card goes up a little bit bigger, as you can sort of see. And then that also comes with an envelope. So these two you can buy in packs of 20 with the envelopes. Now, if you wanted to buy a pack of white cardstock, you could just buy a pack of white cardstock and you could actually make your own cards. Now, a lot of people say they have trouble working out how to cut their paper and how to get the most out of that. So let's share a little bit with that at the moment. Okay. So this card is folded in half, but it's 10.5 across the top and 14 centimetres down the side here. So that would be 28 centimetres long by 10.5, and that is virtually on an A4 piece of paper, cutting it across at 10.5, and you'll get two cards because, 'cause the top of an A4 piece of paper is 21 centimetres. by 30 centimetres, or it's about 29.5. So you can sort of see by placing this, I'll do it on the black card so you can see. You can sort of see by placing it on the card, you'll have a little strip off the bottom, and you'll have 28 centimetres down, and then you'll actually score it at 14 centimetres on your trimmer. So then you'll have that 10.5, it will stand up this way. Okay, now that's 10.5 by 14 centimetres. Then you can also go 10.5 by 15 centimetres, so you could have it a bit longer, and this fits into our normal standard envelope that we sell. Okay, so this goes into the normal envelope, and so will this one, but you'll have a little bit of envelope left on the side there, but that's okay. I'm going to share with you how to make some envelopes in a minute. Okay, so now the other thing is you can also have your card going this way. So once again, this is 21 centimetres, like you've got your 21 centimetres across, so you're going to get two if you cut it off at either 14.5 centimetres or just two little notches under 15. You'll get two cards that you can just fold in half, which will be 10.5 centimetres by whatever you trimmed it off at, 14.5. So this is how you cut your cardstock, and you'll get the best out of it. Okay, now if you're going to cut a bigger card, let's say 9 inches, I'll go inches this time just to confuse you, by 7 inches. If you open it, so it'll be 4.5 by 7. If you open it up, you can sort of see that takes a lot off your A4 paper. So you're going to have a little bit left over, but you can't go this way because it's longer than 21 centimetres. Okay, so you will need to go in on your A4 paper this way. But these pieces you can actually use as little mats, and we'll show you a little bit about that too. Okay, so let's start by sharing some cards and mats. Okay, so this is a card, and we'll go on the inches with this one at the moment. It's 8 inches by 5 3/4 inches. And then we've got the designer series paper. So you can just place the designer series paper with a little border around it, and that's fine with the black. It looks good like this, okay? So that's a nice way of doing it. You can also use your circles, and you can stamp inside. So you can use your circle thinlits, and you can do something like this, or you can do your ovals, and then you can stamp inside of that, or you can bring in your squares. So this looks really lovely. Now, a lot of the time when I actually cut out an oval or a frame, I try to do it in the centre so I can use the outside piece and also the inside piece. So this is an inside piece just over the designer series paper, but this one is actually cut into the designer series paper with the white behind it. But this one I actually cut out and put on top. So you can sort of see you can get some really lovely just cards with your designer series paper and a stamp set. And you can always put words on that as well. Okay. So I just want to also share with you, like if you've got lots of designer series paper, you can cut them up into pieces. So you can work out if you're going to have your card this way, because it does make a difference when you're cutting it, especially if you've got a pattern, whether you want your card to go this way or this way. So whether you want it to open up so it's an A or to the side. Okay, so this is a real quick little one. So we'll just nail this one down. You can use either side. That's the other thing that I really like too, because our papers are double-sided, so you can use either side. So that's really good too. So I'm just going to quickly share with you, if you have a lot of designer series paper in 12 by 12 sheets, then cut them up and get them ready. So I'll just share with you how I store mine. I store them in our stamp containers, and I have them already cut out, ready to go. This is the Love What You Do specialty paper, and I just love it. So I've got it already sort of trimmed up, ready to go on my cards, and this stores so much easier for me on my little bench, and you can actually write the name down the side. Stores so much easier. I've just cut my Sale.A.Bration one up the other day, and sometimes I cut them in all the same size, and sometimes I cut them in just a little bit different sizes. I never throw the ends away because you can make bows with them. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So the little strip on the side, you can do bows. So this is a really good way. Now, showing you these containers are really beautiful, but at the moment they run out of stock on Sunday, and they're waiting for them to come. So I will let you know when they come back on. Yeah, I wanted more myself, so we're just waiting for them to come. So I've stuck this on, so you can sort of see before you can trim off. You have a lot of scraps. So I've just picked up a scrap piece of paper, and I'm just going to stick that on the front, and just make sure that you always have your opening where you need it, because you don't want your card to be upside down when you're putting... Oh, I've got a little bug. I better just shut my door. I've got little bugs coming in. It was very hot in here before, so... and then I just used one of our stamp sets, and it's just Make-A-Wish, and this is a really quick little birthday card. Now you can add more to this if you wanted to. You could add butterflies going up on it. You could, what else could you do? You could put some diamantes on there. Put some diamantes on the butterfly. You could use the Winker Stella on it. So that's a quick and easy type card to do. Now the other thing is that you might have some side scraps as well, so you might want to cut it down like this. So once again, you've got your cards. You might want to do more than one mat. A mat is a piece of plain cardstock that sticks on before you stick your designer series paper or your image on. Okay, so a mat is your paper. This is what they call a mat. That's a double mat. Okay, so what I'm going to do is stick the black one on, and I knew that was going to run out because I've got a new one here all ready to go, because I've been making cards, so I knew it was going to run low. Okay, so we're going to stick our black mat onto our card front, so that just goes onto the front. Okay, and then I'm going to stick the Whisper White one on here as well. Now I'll also give you some measurements in a minute, because that's important too when you're doing these, how you actually measure your cards. So on this one I had a strip this way, so I'm actually going to put my black strip down here, and I needed a new blade for my trimmer. It's a little bit fuzzy, but it gives it that heritage look, so that's okay. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a white trim over here, and I'm just going to bring my paper, designer series paper. Now you can do either. Let's go that way this time. We'll use the purple side. Now if you're using the purple side, you might want to highlight, just work out which way you want it. You might want to highlight some of the flowers up too with your Stampin' Blends or your marker, so you could highlight these up. And then you could also put some words. So I'm just giving you some quick ideas. So let me share with you some others that I did a bit earlier, because I want to also share with you the envelope punch board, and time goes fast. Okay, so I'll just give you some measurements first. So if your card was 10.5 centimetres going across, which is a piece that you've cut in half, and you've trimmed it off at 14 centimetres, so you've trimmed it off at 14 centimetres and just going to bring the black card back here so you can sort of see what I'm talking about. So you've got it there. You've trimmed it down to 28 centimetres by 10.5 for this one. Okay, 28 centimetres by 14. Now your first mat would be 13.5 centimetres, so you're bringing it down 0.5 a bit shorter, and then by 10 centimetres. And then your next one would be 13 centimetres by 9.5. So you're bringing it down by 0.5 each time, and that layers up as your mats do here. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Okay, so if you were doing this one, it was 10.5, but this was 15 centimetres, you would cut your cardstock right to the end of the card. Okay, so you would just run your card straight down at 10.5, your trimmer I mean, straight down at 10.5, and that would give you 2 cards. So when you think there's 40 sheets of paper in our Whisper White normal white cardstock, and you get 2 cards this way, that's 80 cards. So that's really good. Then if you're going to do a mat on this one, it would come down like 10 centimetres by 14.5 centimetres. Now you might, if you wanted to do designer series paper straight on there, like I did on this one here, then you would cut your designer series paper, the 10 centimetres and the 14.5, and not worry about a mat. Okay? I hope that made sense to you. So here's some others that I did a little bit earlier. I had some 9 centimetres by, which were 9 centimetres across by 9.5 centimetres scrap squares that I had in my designer series paper. So I actually stuck these on a 10.5 by 14, and that's one of my favourite size cards, is 10.5 by 14. And then I also cut, stamped in some little butterflies on the inside and stamped some words on. So it's very quick and easy, that one. Okay, so this is using exactly the same again. These were 9 by 9.5 scraps that I had. And I've just done a ripping technique through here. Some people don't like ripping their paper, but it's okay. And then I've added the bit that I ripped off up the top here on the reverse side. And then this is on a 21 centimetre. If you go 21 and come down 14 and cut across, fold it in half, and this is the size card you'll get. Okay. So this one I've done on our beautiful new green Sea Breeze green card. It's but the same size square again, 9 centimetres by 9.5. But this time I've just cut it up to give you a little space in between, and the card on this one is the same as the others, so it just looks beautiful. And I've just got Hello Beautiful there. They're very simple little cards, but you can actually do more to them if you wanted to. If you're a big stamper, you could actually mat that first and trim your designer series paper down, so you could mat that first. Then you could put a big butterfly in the centre of that too, so you could actually tease these up really well, like, you know, do more and more. So that's just the squares that I had. They were the 9 centimetres going across by 9.5. So you can sort of see by just using the same stamp I have, Hello Beautiful, and just bringing in the different ways that I've done it, you can actually get quite a few cards out of your designer series paper. Okay, so don't ever throw it away. Come up with what you can think of, what you can use. So once again, this time I had some scraps. This one had a punch out of it, so I just cut it out on an angle. So once again, I've just put the paper there and just put like a banner, and then my words and the little butterfly over here. Now you could tiz this one up too. You could tiz it up with a big butterfly up here and some dimensions and things like that. Now this one I had just a little square, a scrap left over, so I just got a little note and I just put a little white mat around it and then stuck the designer series paper in to make it as the feature, and just had a little note, so that's really good too. This one was some scraps, so once again I just punched out some circles and laid the circles across and a little note, and that's really gorgeous. And you know, sometimes you get just that thin strip of paper, so you can use that. Now if I get time, I'll show you the others that I made up a bit later. I'll just put them that way because I want to show you now our envelope punch board. If you haven't got if you're on and you've got an envelope punch board, just put in the comments that you've got one. Now, how many of you got heaps of strips like I was talking about before? We have a lot of these strips, and I don't throw these away. Like I said, I put them into the back of my designer series paper, the strips, and then I make bows out of them. So I'm going to show you how to make a bow. So to start with, I would cut off, just cut it off about, I don't know, 7 inches. Okay, so we just cut it off at 7 inches. So this is roughly 7 inches by an inch. Okay, so 7 inches by 1 inch. Okay, so then we're going to line it up on our punch board. On our punch board we have measurements across the top here, which are done in inches, so that's why I'm going with you on inches here. But when you make your envelopes, we've got this little template that you can put on top, which is centimetres, and then our inches underneath. Okay, so we're going to line this up at 3.5. So the three is there, 3.5. Then we're going to punch down, and you can see that it gives you that envelope shape. Then we're going to turn it around and we're going to line it up at 3.5 again. So 3.5 and 3.5 is 7. Okay, so that's why I got the 7 inches. Okay, so our piece was 7, so you just got to divide it that way. Okay, then I'm going to come back to the 1.5 and do the same thing. I'm going to punch, and then I'm going to turn it around and bring it to the 1.5 again and punch. Then I'm going to turn it around to the 1.5, punch down, and then turn it over to the 1.5 and punch down again. Then I'm going to eyeball this into the middle here. So I'm just going to eyeball it into the middle here. And I normally say if you have your little guide here on the edge of the paper, you're pretty nearly in the centre. Pretty much nearly in the centre. So we'll just do that. And that gives us our little tabs. Now the thing that I like about this is you can use your bone folder and you can just curl this paper a little bit. And then you're just going to push it into a bow. And then push this one into a bow, and you've got your little ties there. So you can just nail it or use your mini glue dots. So I'm just going to add a little bit of snail there and bring it over, and a little bit of snail and bring that over. And you've got your little tabs at the back. Now to dress that up a little bit more, I'm just going to put that on our little white card wherever it went. Okay, so we've got a little white card here, and I'm just going to put the little bow straight onto there. It's a very simple little quick card, this. No one says your cards have to be 3-dimensioned and more and more and more and more and more on it. You can do them as simple or as hard as you like. So I'm just going to bring that bow open a little bit on the bow, and just the same on this side. And then I'm going to use these gorgeous clear face gems, and these are really beautiful. And I'm just going to put one in the centre, and you can sort of see that you could have a little black mat behind there. You could stamp out some friendship words on there, and it's a little note that you can just send to someone. But then you can also use it on the front of a card too. Okay, so you could do that. So our envelope punch board. How do we use that too? A lot of people ask me that. Well, the first thing I would do when you get it is what I did. I'll just bring them over here. Is that I took the time out to follow the instructions on the envelope punch board with the measurements. And on the measurements, you've got your card size, which is the size of your card, which is the size of your designer series paper or your plain card. And then it says what, that's your first one is your card size. Not that card size, it's your card size. Let me get that card we had before. Where's that bigger card? Is your card. Is this card. Sorry, that's the size of your card. Then the next size is your paper size, which is this size for your punch. And then the next one is your punch. So where you've got to line it up. Okay? So I'll show you, I'll do one. So with this one, this card here goes onto one of my samples here, but I'll just quickly go through the samples. What I actually did is I punched them all out and scored them because it gave me a visual of where the folds go. You can sort of see where the folds go on the card, on the envelope. So you can sort of see. So it gives you a bit of a visual. And I've written down all the size, but I've also numbered them. So I've numbered 1, 2, 3, so that starts on your punch board. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we've got 77 envelopes, different size envelopes here. Now some of them you can use with your A4 paper, some of them you can use with your 12 by 12 designer series paper, which I've done here, and also some of them you can do with your, just your plain card stock. And that is in 12 by 12. You have to have 12 by 12. At the moment we have black and white and we have all the in colours. So you can actually get 12 by 12 coloured ones. Okay. I like doing it usually in white. We used to be able to get crumb cake, but we can't, I don't think, get that anymore. But these are old. I made them up when I first started. But then I decorated the front of the envelope up as well, which was really lovely. And you can see that this card is going to fit perfectly into this envelope. Okay, so you can sort of see that this is how we do it. Now, how do we actually snail it? And I do tell you this because I've seen people snail right across the flap here and then it sticks straight onto their card. You don't. You snail your smaller tabs, okay? Smaller tabs. And then you press down on those smaller tabs, okay? If you want to round the corners, we have a corner rounder right on the end of our punch, and you just line your card into the corner and it will round the corner for you. So that's really helpful. You don't have to go and get a different tool to round the corner, okay? So let's make one of these, so we can see how it's made. Now the first thing I need to do is pick out some cardstock or some designer series paper that I'd like to use, and I love this Love What We Share designer series paper. It's a specialty paper and it's really gorgeous, this one. It's got a real shimmer on it. It's really beautiful paper. So we need to cut this paper at 9 1/4 inches. So 9 1/4. I'm just going to move that out of the way so we can bring this over and hopefully you can see where I'm going. So we've got 9 and then it's the next line up here. Pass it, the next bigger line. So you'll have a small one, a medium one, small one, and then the next bigger one. So that's 9 1/4. So we're going to trim that off and then we're going to turn it around and we're going to do 9 1/4 again. Okay. Now these pieces that you cut off is what I actually have used a lot of when I've made envelopes. I've used to put on my card fronts. So you can imagine just punching out your circles in this, how gorgeous that would look, because it's got the, and you would pick where that beautiful flower is, that beautiful shimmer flower is, and put them across your card. Okay, so let's go with the envelope punch board now. Just move all this over here. Okay, so with this one, we're going to score it at 3 3/4. I'm going to do it on this side and hopefully you can see it. You also got your school tool in the side there. Okay, so we line it up underneath our little section, and we have our line, score line here, and we have a score guide here. So this is our score guide, and this is our score line, and this is our punch. This is the measurement we line it up to. So we're going to go line it up at 3 3/4. So 3 3/4, and it's written on there 3, and then go across to the 3/4. Okay, then we're going to actually punch. Then we're going to come down and we're going to score. Now the thing is, this is going to be hanging off the edge a little bit. Okay, but that's okay. Just go down as far as you can on this one. You can see it's just off the edge there, but it's enough to actually line the score line up with the score guide. Okay, so we've actually lined that up. You don't line it back up the second time at 3 3/4. You line your score line with your score guide, which is this little tab here. Okay, so we punch down and we score again. Now this one, when you bring this one around, this one will be lined up at your 3 3/4, but you don't have to worry about it if you line this up directly to this score line. Okay, and punch down and then score, and then bring it around and line up your last one. You can sort of, if you can't quite see it, you can always just fold it in a little bit, and it gives you a little crease line where you can actually just see where you're going to line it up. And once again, we're going to punch down and we're going to score it. You can round your corners off, and you can sort of see that you can have a beautiful envelope. Now you can do it either way, whichever way you want your envelope to be. So that could be the inside of your envelope, and this one could be the outside of your envelope. It's entirely up to you what colour you want on the outside. So that shows you how easy that is to make your envelope. And that fits that beautiful card too. So you could use the same designer series paper and decorate up your card. Well, sorry about my hand, guys. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that tonight, just sharing you a little bit more about the basics of cutting up card, how to use your designer series paper. Don't forget, if you put your $90 order in, you can get some free designer series paper with your Sale.A.Bration, which is fantastic because you can get a lot of envelopes out of that, or you can get a lot of cards out of that. So that's really good. So I hope you enjoyed tonight, and we'll follow through in a couple of weeks' time. Oh, next week I'll be in Hervey Bay, so I'll see you from Hervey Bay. Let's hope I get the time right. Hi Heather, how are you? Nicole, thank you for dropping in tonight. I love it when you people come. If you haven't got an envelope punch board and you'd like one, just contact me, or you can go on the link below and shop on my online store, use the hostess code. Also 2 weeks in Hervey Bay, so 2 weeks up with my mum, and I'll still be sharing from Hervey Bay, so that's wonderful. And then when I come back, I might do a little bit more on the envelope punch board, because that's been a couple of emails that I've had. Hi Bethany, how are you? A couple of emails sent to me asking can I please share how to use designer series paper, how to cut up cards and add designer series paper and stamps, and how to use the envelope punch board. So tonight was a little bit of a touch on there. So yeah, let's hope you enjoy watching this video over again and making heaps of bows and lots of cards. And I'll see you all next week from Hervey Bay. Okay, bye for now.